you're looking at $200,000.
Yeah,
of
which is crazy.
It's a good traffic source still, even though it's less good than it was.
They just built links to us naturally because of something we did.
I think you cannot be competitive today in SEO if you don't build some of your links or most of your links in-house. It's so funny because we criticize Google so much for doing this, and essentially it's the best tactic for getting links.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they do it, right?
It's actually AI feature proof almost, this tactic, which is kind of interesting to me.
Then you get an absolute boatload of links.
What if I told you that we built over 1,600 high-quality backlinks for just $8 each on average? And I'm not talking about backlinks from spammy sites that you could buy on Fiverr, but rather links from industry giants like entrepreneur.com, that is a DR91 site, or slate.com, that is a DR90 site. You think that's impossible? Well, we're about to prove you wrong in this episode. Hey Authority Hackers, I'm Gerard Breton, and we are about to share a link building strategy that is going to revolutionize your SEO game. In this link building masterclass, we are not just sharing theory, we're giving you the exact blueprint that we have used on our site to outrank sites like Forbes before they got killed by Google recently and earn hundreds of high-quality backlinks on autopilot. And even with the recent Google updates, links remain a critical ranking factor. These strategies are more relevant than ever, allowing SEO to maintain a high ROI by generating more high-quality backlinks for less money, effectively addressing many of the challenges posed by the recent algorithm changes. Now, before we dive in, I want to give you the opportunity to grab our free swipe file, which includes 50 linkable asset examples to supercharge your SEO. This is the perfect companion for this episode, and it's going to give you many ideas on how to create your own linkable assets. And if you don't have the time or resources to do your link building yourself, this episode is brought to you by Search Intelligence. Check them out if you need some help with high-quality digital PR campaigns on search-intelligence.co.uk. More about them later. For now, let's get started with the episode. So I think the problem is that if you're looking at Google right now, like you type most queries, what you'll figure out is like, while they've introduced a lot of like new AI factors, etc., with all these updates and so on, and intent is very important and all of that, you still find that most sites that rank well on average have a pretty high domain rating, domain authority.
Yeah, I mean, the one consistent thing through every single Google update for the last 16 years has been people complaining about big sites, about Google favoring big sites. Maybe with the exception of this last August core update, but that was really a slight correction.
You search for like most queries, even with the recent core update, you still find most sites are like DR50 plus.
Exactly.
Right? It's like otherwise it's not. It's like you're not gonna rank. So you kind of have to, if you want to still get traffic from SEO, which is still a very good traffic source. It's very targeted. People are searching for something. You're here at the moment where they're looking for a solution. So it's a good traffic source still, even though it's less good than it was. Let's be honest. You need to build links at scale. The problem is that to build all these links, like even getting the R50, right? You need a few thousand links usually to get there. If you outsource that, it's going to cost you a ton of money, right? It's like, you look at a link building agency, probably the average price for the non-shitty ones would be like $200, $300 per link or something.
At least.
Yeah.
And it's going up.
So if you're looking at that, you need, let's say, 1,000 links to make it simple, right? Mm-hmm. It costs $200. I'm taking the low end. You're looking at $200,000.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean,
which is
the math, the economics, it doesn't work for most businesses.
And that's, I mean, the thing is like, you will rank and you will make money spending 200 grand, but like, how long is that going to take for you on top of the cost of your, whatever you're selling or however you're monetizing, the content you need to create, all of that, etc. How long is that going to take until you get your money back and you're actually profitable with this business, especially considering the turbulence of Google and all of that, right? It's like, I think like there's a place for like outsourcing some of especially link building capabilities you don't have in-house, but I think you cannot be competitive today in SEO if you don't build some of your links or most of your links in-house, to be honest, because it's just too expensive. It's very, very hard to get a good ROI.
Exactly. Like gone are the days when a business like SEO was the business model. SEO is like the marketing channel for a business, and you can't just outsource all your content and all your links indefinitely and think, well, they'll just do all the marketing work and I'll just reap the reward. It doesn't work like that. It's a core competency of a business. You have
the
to
margins
do some of it yourself at least.
Yeah, the margins get eaten completely. Yeah. And it's like, it's not like it costs you nothing to deliver the business. So you'd be looking at like, okay, I need $1 million revenue at least to like start being in the green basically, and maybe that and we're talking about just 1,000 links, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that much in the grand scheme of things. And we're talking $200 a links also, which is the low end. Like you might be well into like $500,000 if you wanted to build like a high DR site from scratch, which actually questions also the value of expired domains and everything. But Google has been, killing a lot of these. Like, you may buy a DR50 domain, but like there's a lower chance today that it's gonna work than it was in the past. So anyway, all of that saying, like, that's the problem that you have right now if you want to do SEO. And so we wanted to talk about something we've done with our site where we built, and that's the headline of the podcast. It's a little bit clickbaity, but it's actually true. We've built 1,664 quality links for an average of $8 each.
Yeah. And this is not a Fiverr ad. Like, this is true.
I want you to jump in and I want you to show us some of the links, because it's like, it would be too easy to say, well, okay, yeah, you built a bunch of shitty spammy links and okay, that costs $8, but that's probably not going to work, right? So it's like,
Sure.
I want you to show me some links.
I'll show you 3 links right now.
Did you cherry pick, by the way? Did you like?
Of course I did. But I am going to reveal all of the links we built, all 1,664, and I'll reveal how we build them, the URLs, everything, so you can all go and check them out. Everyone can go and check them out themselves afterwards and verify that this is. So
it's not going to be a spreadsheet. Is it going to be like?
Well, no, you could just put the URLs in Ahrefs or SEMrush or whatever you're using. But we'll reveal them later in this episode. So first link, number 1, entrepreneur.com, DR91.
Okay.
So they referenced us here in this section. It says recent data shows 81% of brands are now using affiliate marketing as part of their strategy, and it links to Authority Hacker.
Yeah.
Link number 2. Slate.com, DR90. And they referenced us here in an independent study. SEO consultant, you're actually named yourself. You did none of this work, by the way. I don't know why you're taking the credit for this, but Gail Breton found that AI writing did not automatically reduce Google traffic.
I found that, apparently, yeah.
Then we have link number 3, which is only, and I say only, DR74, but it's a highly relevant site, right? It's GMass, which is a tool we used to use 10 plus years ago. It's kind of...
So it's a bare bone outreach tool within Gmail, basically, kind of.
And they link to us. And the interesting thing here is all of this was done without us actually outreaching to any of these sites.
That saves money.
We sat back and they just built links to us naturally because of something we did.
How much did you cherry pick on these though? Like what's a bad link?
I absolutely cherry picked.
Yeah,
I'll put the URLs in and people can go through them themselves. But if you go, there's obviously loads of scraper sites and DR 0.1 sites and things like that.
That's kind of part of it, I guess.
Yeah, but it's the same with any site you build, any page you build. It picks up these types of links like this. But essentially, what we're talking about here is linkable assets, right? And the specific way we've done it is through statistics pages and surveys. We'll get into the
so it's just the only things we did for
about that. Only 2 things, and we only did 3 campaigns to generate 1,664.
I think that's
links.
what leads to the lowest cost, because there's only 3 campaigns. So it's not like we have produced lots of content or do a lot of work. It's just like each one was actually pretty successful.
And just to be clear, this cost, 0 of it is paying for links. We didn't pay anyone for the placement. It's all the cost of the content and the full-time labor of people doing a little bit of outreach to get the campaigns going.
Yeah, I can imagine $8 payment for a link is a bit insulting anyway. So.
Exactly. I mean, who's going to take that?
It's like even by the lowest of the low standards, I don't think that would work. Okay, so what I think we should do now is like we've teased people enough on like what the result is. How does this work exactly?
Okay, so imagine this. You're writing an article about, let's say, affiliate marketing.
Okay.
And the way people create content and come to ideas when they're writing things is we're all human, right? We have existing biases and preconceptions, and we want to get the point that we think is right across. So people will go to the internet and they will try and find data or statistics to back up a point that they already think or believe. In effect, backwards rationalizing the thing that emotionally they feel, right? And this is just the way writers create content. We all do it.
Mostly in the UK, actually. I don't want to go into it.
All right. People will go to Google and they'll look for, writers, journalists, they'll go to Google, they'll look for statistics about the thing they're writing
Yeah,
about,
okay.
and they'll use one of those statistics to back up a point to strengthen one of their arguments, and then they will often link to the source of that statistic. And if you happen to be the statistics page ranking at the top of Google for one of those statistics terms, then you get an absolute boatload of links, like
Okay.
tons and tons and tons, 1,664 to be precise.
I think also what's interesting is like you could make the argument as like probably the statistics could be given by AI overviews or featured snippets, but if you want to make a credible argument when you write an article, you need to give a source anyway.
Who are you going to link to?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you need to give a source
that
to
was-
like be credible anyway, right?
yeah, that, like, I remember back in the day at university, if you reference Wikipedia as a
they hated
source,
you, huh?
like you got chewed out by your professor. It's to say you can't reference AI overviews, especially with the amount of lies that they
yeah, but it's
spouting
interesting
out.
because it's like, you know, you could argue that probably some of these stats are going to show up in the AI overview, but even though if you're a writer and making a point, it makes your point stronger if you link out to a credible source.
Exactly.
And so like it's actually AI feature proof almost, this tactic, which is kind of interesting to me.
Exactly. So the whole thing we're trying to do here is rank for a statistics keyword, and our article is literally going to be a list of statistics.
Okay.
The problem with that is that anybody can create a big list of statistics, right? It's really, really easy. So what is going to determine who ranks first? Well, you know, to an extent, domain rating, domain authority,
And that's why you see
big
sites
sites.
doing that.
So,
right?
so you know, a common argument I get is, well, this site is only going to be this tactic is only going to work for sites that are large already. I'm a small site. How do I become a large site? Well, the way to do it is to stand out by creating better content. And the way,
Okay, Mr. Google.
yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
It's like-
But the way you can do that with the statistics is to have your own data. So you have something that
Okay.
nobody else has, and that will allow you to outcompete with sites much bigger with you, as we have done against DR. I mean, we're DR78. We were ranking above Forbes. It was in the DR, was it 94 or something?
yeah.
For a long, long period of time for AI statistics.
The thing is, like, do you think it's due to information gain, or is it because Google thinks it's a better page, or is there some kind of like underneath tactic for like, is there some value?
I mean, this is like, why do sites rank the debate? We could do a whole podcast on that, but I think largely, yes, it's the information gain and the unique data that does it. Now, is that directly because Google's measuring that, or is it measuring the user signals and secondary effects of that? I don't know, but it works. We've demonstrated it, and it gets results. Now, the obvious question then is, well, how do I get this unique data? How do you run a survey? Isn't that quite expensive or quite complex to do? And honestly, it's not.
Okay.
I mean, there is certainly a process to it, which I'm going to go through right now for how we did it, but it's certainly achievable. And, you know, I'll show you 3 examples later in this episode where and the kind of progression we made from doing kind of mediocre surveys to doing something actually quite interesting.
Could you just make everything up? Would that work? We don't recommend that. I'm just,
Honestly,
it's theoretical thinking. Yes.
like, honestly, you probably could.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't. Like, we've got all the data to back it up. Happy to share that, but
like, I feel like nobody checks, right? It's like
no one's ever checked. No one's ever asked for anything. So it wouldn't surprise me if people did that. But like,
yeah,
it
makes the internet
it's
shit.
not something I want to do. So.
I agree. We don't recommend it, but yeah, I think it's interesting because that also, like, you know, the follow-up question would be like, how well managed does the survey need to be, and like how clean does the data need to be, etc. But if you could make things up, like, I think argue it can be a bit dirty.
So
basically.
Every survey that's ever been done has problems with bias. And like a lot of the ways professional survey designers create surveys is done specifically to eliminate bias and things like that. So if you're doing for some medical trial or some scientific thing, absolutely you need to do that. If it's a marketing thing about, you know, AI statistics, like there's not the same level of rigor that's needed. And there are actually some tactics which we've used, which I'll share, where we try and kind of get people to take a more extreme position to show.
I was going to say, if it's sensational, you're more likely to get links, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Let's go through the way you do this.
Okay. So step one is we need a topic for our survey. Authority hacker, we're in the broadly speaking digital marketing niche, but there's lots of like little sub niches around here. The very first one we picked was link building. We did a link building survey, not because we did some amazing analysis and like looked at all the potential. We just thought
links, so.
we understood that really well. And we just thought it would work. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Since then, though, we've learned that the best way to measure, to validate a topic idea is to look for, if you Google the topic plus statistics and you look at how many links the statistics pages there are getting. If you exclude like government sites and things like that, look at how many links the statistics posts are getting. That gives you a rough idea of the number of people that are likely to link to it. And if you're seeing, multiple pages with 50 plus referring domains, you're good to go.
Yeah, it's probably worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially you have your kind of high level topic. Think of it like a pyramid, your topic at the top. And then you have an angle. And so we picked link building for our first one. It's like, how do you want to position that survey? Like what direction do you want to go in? And again, first time we did it was based purely on curiosity. So we genuinely wanted to know how many people are paying for links. We wanted to know, how many links are people building? What are the people who are building the most links doing differently from the people who are not building so many links?
Okay.
And we kind of built the survey out from there. So getting the data or getting people to respond to your survey, getting respondents is super important. And a lot of people will not do a survey because they don't have an audience, right? We're fortunate enough to have a big email list, big community. And we sent an email out and we got, I think it was like 700 or something responses, 800 responses for the link building one. We did get more for others, and I'll talk about the differences in a little bit. But there's actually tools out there that you can use to survey people. So Pollfish is a good example of one. It costs about $1 per respondent. And generally speaking, with these surveys, you need 1,000 plus respondents. So you'd be paying $1,000 to $2,000 to get your survey out there. Again, depends how many questions you ask, and
it's not cheap, but compared to again outsourcing link building,
it's not cheap. But most of the cost of these tactics are creating the initial content piece, like the survey and the stats page in the beginning, and then all the links that come in after are really, really cheap because, as I said, you're not doing anything. Most of them are coming in on autopilot. But what we also did was we looked at other people who had ran surveys in this space before, and there hadn't really been one in a couple of years. I think there was one company that was doing like an annual one.
I think Paddy Mugan, it's like a UK SEO that used to work for Distilled had one, if I remember. Yeah.
So honestly, our opinions, like they were okay, what some of them were doing, and there was some interesting data, but a lot of it was kind of outdated. It was 2-3 years old. So there's if you see that, it's a good opportunity to refresh that existing data because it's kind of already validated that it's going to work, right? Or you can come up with the new angles like we did. Yeah. So one of the most important things I would say is to design the survey well. The questions and answers you put in there. Big mistake a lot of people make is they'll ask open-ended questions like, what do you think of link building or something? And they'll get
great question.
2,000 people respond with saying 2,000 different things. And like, well, what do I do with this? So surveys are multiple choice for a reason. It allows you to compare the data at scale and really pull insights
across the data,
from that.
Right? So we could see, like, I think we had experienced link builders, like we asked them.
Yeah, so this is one thing that I think helped our survey stand out significantly. That was, we asked all these positioning questions in the beginning. So it was, I think, like, how many links per month do you build? How many years of experience do you have in link building? Like these types of things. And what it allowed us to do was all the other questions we would ask later. For example, if we asked, how much do you pay for links? We could then say, well, how much do people who are building lots of links pay for links versus how much do people who are not building many links pay for links? And, you could cross all those questions with those positioning questions at the start. The same way you would for, demographics, if you wanted to compare, like people in different countries. We didn't ask that in there, but it's the same kind of idea.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do with their
I remember
their
an
surveys.
insight from this actually, where we saw that the cost per link from like advanced link builders was actually lower than the cost per link from beginner link builders, even though their salary was like much lower because they were so much more inefficient.
Yeah. So,
that was interesting insight.
This
right?
was actually a secondary thing that we did. So we looked at how many links experienced link builders were building, and it was a lot more. And we looked at how many links beginners were link building, and it was a lot less. But then we got external data on link builder salaries, and then we compared the two, and then we were able to see like the cost per link for as you got more experience actually went down. It was still crazy, like 200 and something.
It's so expensive,
yeah. So they should probably use this tactic here instead, what those link builders were doing. But it was an interesting insight, and that got quoted quite a lot, that little trajectory graph in other spaces as well, like in recruitment and things like that. So it's kind of cool.
This is how you design your survey. What happens when you design your survey? I guess you can either use your audience or something like Polefish to get the answers. In this case, we had the audience. Did we do one with Polefish at all?
No, not for Authority Hacker. We've done it for another company.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about that now, but and spent, I think it was like $1,500 or something to.
I did just as well.
It's roughly $1. I think it's 95 cents per user. The thing with Polefish is you're essentially going out to, imagine you go out to the street in a big city, you're getting complete cross section of the population there. So you can't do that to get 1,000 link builders, right?
Yeah,
because
that's quite difficult.
we're all hiding in our parents' basements or whatever, So it's difficult to get those people. You can, however, ask a screening question. So let's say you want to do a survey on coffee drinkers, right? You could ask a screening question, which was, do you drink coffee? Yes or no? And anyone who clicked no wouldn't get to answer the survey in Polefish, and you wouldn't be charged for it.
You can pay for it. Okay.
Yeah, but the downside of that is it increases the price of the survey by about 50%. So you have to kind of balance those.
Do the
those things.
people who answer yes, like, do they get paid to answer the survey?
Yes.
So
yes.
Would they be biased to say yes?
There's always bias in surveys. And that is even with our own list, right? There's many different ways that is biased because our audience isn't typical link builders, and so
okay.
The thing is, when you have a large enough amount of people, a lot of these small issues kind of iron themselves out.
Anyway, right?
Nobody verifies, and it's also an opportunity actually in your survey to talk about the potential biases and the potential issues. When we did our affiliate marketing survey, there was a lot of people who had taken TAS, our old beginners course, in there.
So that lots of beginners.
And so there's a lot. It skewed a bit more towards beginners, and there was one niche that a lot of people ended up being in, which was the case study site. So so there's issues there, but we talked about it, right? And that also adds more transparency if you're open about these potential issues.
And now for a quick word from this episode's sponsor. Search Intelligence has created the world's first digital PR ideation tool to help you find that inspiration for your next campaign. The initial inspiration for digital PR ideas can be pretty tough, especially if you don't have a team to work with. With their new tool, idiot.online, all you have to do is give it your site's domain name, and within a few seconds, you've got a ton of ideas for your next digital PR campaign. It's really interesting. The tool is trained with data from Search Intelligence's successful campaigns, and honestly, it's pretty good. We tried it with our domain Authority Hacker, clicked the CAPTCHA to prove we weren't robots, and a few milliseconds later, the tool accurately picked out our site's main topics like SEO, digital marketing strategies, and affiliate marketing. And there are dozens and dozens of suggestions for our next digital PR campaign. It even broke down suggestions into helpful categories like saving and preventing, warnings and dangers, best worst tools, frequency, why and why not, and even regional specific ones like UK tabloid media. This is actually a huge time saver because the story structures behind this have already been tried and tested and proven to work. So even if you don't use the exact suggestions, I'm sure it's going to spark some massive inspiration. And remember, you only need one good idea from the tool to have a successful campaign. You can kick these campaigns off yourself, or to take the hassle completely out of your hands, click the execute this idea button to get in touch with Search Intelligence to do it for you. Making a creative digital PR campaign campaign has never been easier. Thanks again to Search Intelligence for sponsoring this video.
Okay, so let's say I've collected my answers either through my audience or through Bullfish. What happens next?
So then it comes down to analyzing the data and like looking for interesting things. So simply going through all the questions and saying, what are the results? What's cool about this? Is there any other data I can cross this with, either from your survey or outside, like we talked about before? Then you have to essentially write this up into a report, an article for your site. Get some graphics, simple pie charts showing percentage saying yes and no. It really helps to visualize this. Writing it up is not difficult either. You literally have just a section which is the finding, and then a couple paragraphs about it, 2-3 sentences, the image, and then the next finding, and you repeat that format for.
I have a feeling
most of the
AI could
article.
be quite good at it, actually.
It is, yeah. So we've been using it a lot in our recent surveys, and in the course. That is something which we show as well.
Yeah,
so.
because it has this data analyzer stuff, like you can upload CSVs and so on with all the answers. And I think if you kind of prompt it to be a little bit critical or think of interesting correlations, that I think it's not perfect, but I think it could help a lot.
All you have to do is, if you train it, you give it some
example
existing survey posts that someone else has written. It has a framework to go on, so it's really good.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of nice, because I remember doing the first ones. It was a bit painful, actually.
It took ages, because we went through so many different writers and people trying to do this, trying to get a data expert in the end we just did it all ourselves.
Yeah, because the data expert didn't know how to write, and then the writer didn't know how to analyze, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, it's not difficult. In fact, if you use Bullfish for your survey, and you can use Bullfish for free if you're bringing your own audience to it, right?
Okay.
So you can use their tool, which is great, because you can do all the data analysis inside Bullfish, which is really, really good, because it makes it so much easier to get all the charts and the things you need.
Okay.
And to do the cross analysis.
So you do the post, you analyze the data, you put, basically it's a WordPress post, right? You just make
just a post on your
blog
site.
Post.
authorityhacker.com/link-building-survey.
Yeah, so here's the first URL. Okay, so that's it. My post is live. Where are the links?
Yeah, so and I know we said this was mostly passive, but this is the only active outreach bit you do. But it's very important. So when your survey is ready, it's time to do a bit of marketing for it. So you can do an outreach campaign to your survey post.
Okay.
So that's where we are basically taking each finding that we have. One of the questions we asked in the link building one was, do you believe no follow links pass link juice?
Okay.
And the vast majority of people did. So we would go around prospecting for sites which mentioned no follow links. And there's a lot of them, a lot of SEO sites, a lot of marketing blogs talking about no follow links. And then we would reach out to them, and we created a template that said, hey, I noticed you mentioned this. And then we would pull in something they specifically mentioned, which is true. But did you know that X percentage of SEOs believe that no follow links do pass link juice? Include the pie chart in the email, because it's really captures the attention. And not even really asking very hard, hey, give us a link, but just feel free to include this if you think it would be valuable to your audience. So very, very light touch. And that did really well. I mean, that page now has 265 referring domains.
From this outreach.
So
mostly, because it doesn't really rank for a keyword, right?
It does rank for link building survey, but not many people link to it. Yeah, not many people search for that, and not many people build links to it that way. Yeah. These are not 265 people who have responded to us saying, yes, I'll give you a link. There's maybe 50 or something did that. Some of them, I mean, I don't know where all of them came from, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But over time, if you look at the link trajectory over time, it kept growing, despite us doing no outreach after the first 4 to 6 weeks.
I think they discovered from the places that mention it. They probably do that. Did we do any social promotion on that?
Yeah, so we did a podcast about that when it first came out. And a little bit. I mean, we're not really big on social media, so it's not like we can really move the needle very much with that. But yeah, we promoted it a little bit.
Do you think it would be worth to advertise it, to spend money? I feel like raising awareness about some kind of it needs to be interesting. I think the reason it works is because it's not boring. It's not shit.
It's interesting. It's new data that people were curious about.
if
So-
it's boring, then it's not. I don't think it would work. But like, I feel like something interesting like that, like if we even like Facebook ads or something like that, I'm not sure it would be a complete waste
Yeah,
of
I mean,
money.
it's so this outreach campaign and what we did, it's really just this initial burst of
Attention.
marketing
Yeah.
attention. Yeah. So anything you can do to help get more attention on it seems to help it do better. I mean, when we outreach to people, we had some people responding saying, "Oh yeah, I saw this." They didn't say where, but maybe they watched the podcast, maybe they saw us post it on LinkedIn or
Yeah.
you on Twitter or something, and that helped us. So
Did other people share it?
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So it was featured in, like, Matt Diggity in his monthly roundup featured it, and like
Yeah.
a few other people have
Maybe
mentioned it, or
newsletters, things like that.
tweeted about it and things like that. So
Yeah, so it's like we built a little bit of buzz around it, but it's true, we're not amazing at social media. It's something we need to do better at.
Yeah.
Okay, so you finished the survey, you promoted the post.
Mhm.
What's next?
So next we built the statistics post, and all we did for that was we took all of our statistics and we
Okay.
took all of the other statistics of people we could find who had interesting link building statistics,
Okay,
and we made the best list of link building statistics.
so including our new stuff together
Yeah.
with the old stuff that you could find on Google.
Absolutely.
basically.
And of course we put all of our own statistics towards the top of that page. Now, what was interesting about the way we referenced the sources here is we actually put the link next to every single statistic.
Mhm.
And that was something we played around with later, and it had some interesting results. So I'll
Yeah, I was gonna
share
say,
more
I s-
about that.
Okay,
It does make it look a little bit busy on the page,
Yeah.
with all of these links. But you can see in every section, we broke it down into, we've got our top link building statistics, who builds links, link building and impact on search rankings, link building tactics, social media and link building costs. You get the picture.
Mhm.
At the top of every section is several authority hacker statistics.
So the point is to try to get people to quote this one because it gets us a link.
Exactly.
Okay.
And something we did in this one, which we didn't repeat in future, was we had quite a deep analysis of like what these link building statistics mean. And we had a few different takeaways and kind of turned into a little bit of a blog post. So that actually took a little bit longer to create. But I don't really think it added too much value.
Nah,
Like
people
people
don't
coming for
scroll.
statistics, they just want the big list of
Yeah.
statistics. And you can see from later examples that did better for us. So we got 220 linking root domains to our link building statistics page since we've built it. And
I want to say, when we launched this page, I remember advertising it on AdWords as well.
yeah, so
Yeah.
one thing, when we first launched it, day one, it didn't rank. It did actually ranked really, really quickly, like within a week or something.
Mhm.
But if you don't have the authority to rank, a brand new site, then you can pay for Google AdWords. Do you remember what the cost was per click
It's
or
not that
something?
it's cheap, it's that there's just not that much volume for these queries.
And no
anyway.
competition either, right?
Yeah,
Because
so
there's
it's
not really much monetary
You
value.
will spend money, right? It's like if you advertise and you try to be like at the top of a query that has like 100 search per month or something on Ahrefs, like you spend like $200, $300.
Yeah.
But you're very likely to get a link from that. So it's like, compare that to like the cost of an agency, for example. Like, well, it's like if you get even just one link from that spend, it's okay.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, you can just cheat. You can just, even if you're a DL0 site, honestly, if I had a DL0 site today and I wanted to build up authority, I might do that. I might just like brainstorm all the statistics pages I could put together. If you don't have the time or like or resources, you could even skip the survey and just do that.
Yeah.
Advertise
So,
statistics pages.
Do you want to know like a not so secret?
What's the secret?
There are multiple very large businesses that have built basically their entire SEO authority
Mm-hmm.
by doing exactly just this.
You mean exploding topics?
Exploding Topics is a great example. So Brian Deans did
Also Backlinko, actually.
in Backlinko. So don't get me wrong, he started off creating like loads of super deep guides. They're excellent. Then he sort of found this format of doing statistics, and then he just kept repeating that, and it kind of became his templated piece of content, and it did really well. Got loads of links.
He went so far from his niche as well. I remember doing the interview with him and kind of like grilling him on that, so people can check the episode. But I'm like, you have Roblox statistics. Roblox is like a video game for kids, right?
Yeah.
I was like, how is that related to Backlinko? And are you not afraid of Google?
But this is the beauty of his next business, Exploding Topics,
because that's
is that
statistics.
the subject, his niche is stuff, right? It's just like
it works for
it's stuff that's growing. It's interesting things, and so he can literally talk about anything. And he can talk about statistics of anything. And you saw that's literally all he did to build. He didn't do any outreach. He
I think
just did that.
I think that's also why he started this business. I think he knew how he would grow it organically.
Which is it's super smart, right?
And,
Take something you know that works and then figure out the perfect business to run it.
I think he figured it out on Backlinko, and he was like, well, I really shouldn't push it too hard on Backlinko, and sold it and did that. And now he just sold Exploding Topics to SEMrush actually. So SEMrush owns a lot of statistics pages right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically you could say Brandon made, like, I don't know how much money he made, maybe high 7, low 8 figures from statistics pages.
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's more to it than that, but yeah, there's certainly
like if you really boil it down, yeah, you could say that. Okay. Okay, so you make the statistics page. Yeah, advertising it is a really cool hack. And it's not very expensive because these queries are small, not because the clicks are cheap. You will still sometimes pay $5 per click or whatever, but it doesn't matter because there's just not that many people searching for that stuff.
It's funny as well. I remember, was it Cyrus Shepherd did a talk? I think
it was Cal Roof, I think.
Cal Roof, was it?
Yeah.
He was looking at when you advertise, when you run Google ads to a new post, it ranks better organically.
Maybe
and like
that way,
he couldn't really figure out the causation reason for that, but yeah, that seemed to be the case at least. So.
To me, it's like also spammers don't advertise.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like one more thing that separates you from a shitty, shady site. Like you're actually advertising. Like only real businesses would pay AdWords. It's expensive. So it's like you're different, and I like that actually.
So essentially, this is a way for sites which don't have much domain authority to buy their way to the top.
Honestly,
and you could literally just stay there for a year. It's going to cost some money, but it's much cheaper than what you would pay for an agency to do it for you.
Okay, so we've done these ones with this link building survey. You've mentioned other ones. Like, can you walk us through the other examples?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next one we did was an AI survey, an AI statistics post,
which is competitive.
Well, we kind of caught it at the right time, and this was early 2023, so about 6 weeks after ChatGPT came out.
No, ChatGPT came out end of 2021, no?
End of 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we went all in on this. We saw the hype going on around AI. It's like, let's just repeat it and see if we can do it for that. It's a little bit outside of our niche at the time, and we talk about AI a bit more now.
Yeah.
But at the time,
yeah, it was new. I mean, it was outside of everyone's niche, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was a fresh market. The fact that there was no authority on AI, pretty much. Like now, it would be maybe more difficult. But at the time, it was like we kind of jumped on.
And this is what made it a little bit more difficult to plan. Is normally you would look at the other statistics posts and how many links are they getting, but there weren't really many, at least not in the direction we wanted to take this. So we ran a survey on AI, and we did a few things differently, but it resulted in us getting 3,812 people to respond, which is about 4 times more than the first survey. And it was to our same audience, right? Just same email list, same promotion. The thing that we did differently was in the first one, the link building one, we offered a prize for one person. I think it was like a swag bag, some Authority Hacker t-shirts and things like that. So one person would get that. So for some reason, that wasn't really super appealing to people. I don't know why, but
really,
yeah. So what we did this time around is we're like, let's get a bit more serious about this. So we still had a prize. We made it more relevant to the topic. I think we gave like a 1-year ChatGPT Plus account.
Yeah, it was like
something like that.
$360 value or something.
So that was the grand prize. But we gave every single person that completed the survey something as well, and that was like a lead magnet type thing with AI prompts that we had created. And this was
the time it was popular.
This was early 2023, so AI prompts were like all the rage at the time.
They were pretty bad as well, let's be honest. I mean, everyone was bad at prompting back then. I think now when I look at what I'm doing versus what I did back then, but it was popular. And I think the fact that you were guaranteed to get something I think that's what worked.
Exactly. And it's I think that is the difference when surveying your own audiences. Give something to.
But it doesn't
everyone.
have to be your own audience, right? I mean, Polefish, yeah, you're not gonna put a lead magnet on Polefish.
You can't. Yeah.
It's like if you were getting like, I could imagine you could almost like have affiliates for surveys or something, like someone else's audience or something like this.
Yeah, it's possible you could do that. I mean, we did have some arrangements where we would, ask people if we could post the survey in
I
their
would buy
Facebook group and
sponsorship
things like
on
that.
newsletters too, for example.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
find a relevant newsletter, like you're in the crypto space, you want to make a crypto survey.
I don't know. Do you think the economics of that would work?
It's not that bad. The sponsorship on newsletters is not. It's going to be cheaper than Polefish.
Mhm.
That's the thing. It's like if you have that plus the incentive,
Yeah.
then a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people are gonna take it because it's like it's appealing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I could see that working if it was like right at the top of a newsletter or something.
like find some kind of like new shitcoin coming
Yeah.
out and then just give tokens to people like for the launch or something, and it's like everyone's winning. And it's like, yeah, I could see that would be a pretty good take rate, and that would make it like, you go on Polefish, you won't find like lots of crypto investors, but you go on a crypto newsletter, they're here,
Yeah.
and so you probably get a better survey for less money. So it's like, I think you can be a bit creative with your marketing, and that's where I think SEOs are a bit shitty, like they tend to like want the exact formula, but if you kind of like use real marketing chops for that, you'll get better data basically. So we got the survey to our audience. We offered the lead magnets. We got 4 times more responses than the link building one. And then after that, did anything else change in the method?
Yeah. So the way we approached the statistics post that followed was a little bit different. Just for comparison of numbers, the link building survey got 265 referring domains.
Yeah.
The AI survey got 287. So it's about the same, right? Yeah. However, the link building statistics post got 220 linking root domains. The AI statistics got 430. So what did we do different that resulted in twice as many links this time? Well, we kind of cheated a little bit. And we actually got this idea from Brian Dean, because this is how he does his pages. So if we take a look at the AI statistics post here,
it's a bit different, yeah.
What you'll notice is we still have the same sections, the top statistics, and then AI adoption and implementation. We've got impact of AI on jobs and employment. The thing you don't see is a source next to each statistics. Instead, if you scroll down to the bottom of a section, we have a list of sources with the links to them. Now, it's subtle, but by disconnecting the source to where the statistic appears on the page, it makes it much harder for a journalist or someone to go and find, okay, what is the source of that? Of course, they can just copy and paste it.
Reminds me of AI overviews. That's how Google's done it initially.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they wanted to keep the traffic.
It's literally the exact same thing. And it works, right?
Yeah, because it's more hard. It's more difficult. Like you're putting a barrier between what is the source of that one statistic I'm looking at? I need to click on all the links to find which one has it and search on the page.
Or
I can just
you could just link to this the Authority Hacker AI statistics page.
Yeah.
And that's what worked.
I think there's also the fact that AI was a booming industry. Like some of the links we got, it's like it was bigger than link building.
For sure, but why then is the AI survey only get a little bit more links than the link building survey?
Because the survey, we did the same promotion as the link building survey, whereas the AI statistics, when it ended up ranking, got more reach through the fact that more people searched for it.
That's true, but then in the third example, which we'll get onto in a minute, the same dynamic played out. So I think that kind of proves my point, really.
Okay.
So let's jump onto that one now, actually.
Yeah.
The third survey we did was on affiliate marketing.
Okay.
So this time, we tried to do it as quickly as possible. So really to minimize the amount of time we were spending on running the survey. We didn't have a grand prize. We just had a lead magnet. I think it was actually AI prompts for affiliate marketers. It was different ones. These were specific for affiliate marketing. Because again, AI prompts were all the rage. They love them. Yeah. We only got we got 2,270 affiliate marketers respond to that survey. And by the way, just for context, like our surveys are relatively long. I think they're between 20 and 30 questions, which is pretty long.
So time commitment.
Sometimes you can have people drop out. So to have 2,270 people complete it is still pretty good. Given affiliate marketing, it's not as hypey as AI has been over the last couple of years.
Clearly.
Yeah. so that survey actually only got us 87 linking root domains. I say only, that's still amazing.
Still very good.
You know, and some of these are like super high.
That's the thing as well. It's like people imagine that like you run a digital PR campaign and you get like 500 links or something. Like most digital PR campaigns, I mean, we'll talk about that in another episode, but like, you know, they get 8 to 20 links or something. And that's like the average. Like some of them take off and get 100 links, but that's the exception, not the rule. Like the 87 links is better than most digital PR campaigns, for example.
Absolutely, yeah. And these are all, the other thing about this is they're all very relevant links to us, right? Because they're all talking about affiliate marketing. So these are affiliate marketing type sites.
For so many affiliate queries, probably because of this kind of marketing.
This is a big help to it for sure. Yeah. One thing we did differently in this one as well is we broke down the audience by their niche. So we asked this question, what niche are you in? And we had this big list of like 20 or 30 different niches, and we tried to break everything down. And what that allowed us to do is every other question we asked in the survey, we could compare how different niches fared. So we could see, you know, which niches are people making the most amount of money in. So, you know, education, e-learning, or travel, beauty, and skincare were much higher than arts and crafts or sustainability and environment. And it allowed us to create some really nice
unique
charts.
Data,
which was, nobody else had anything like this. And I think that really helped us to
revenue
get
per
our
1,000
points
visitors by niche, for example, is kind of cool. The thing as well is like, again, because I mean, we can say the case study site was in pets and animals.
Yeah.
And so like we had all these beginners who copied the case study site in our course, and then it was the lowest revenue, when I know for a fact, I know like really big affiliate site owners in this market that make good money.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a bit skewed, yeah.
But, you know, we mentioned that literally right below the graph, there's a survey limitation box that explains that. That dynamic. So, yeah.
Okay, so we got a fair amount of responses, kind of the same as what we did before, pretty much the same, but we maintained the lead magnet, and that worked again, which was good. Like it's quite a bit more than a link.
Although we didn't have the grand prize, so I'm not sure if that negatively affected it, or is maybe just the less high P topic that sort of got us less respondents, or maybe just people had filled in 2 of our surveys and like, oh, not another one. So that could have had something to do with it, but. Yeah.
Okay, so what next? Did anything go differently for this one?
No, it's exactly the same. We did a podcast on it, did a little bit of marketing, did an outreach campaign, and then built the statistics post.
Which we advertised as well, I remember that.
Yeah.
Like we kind of do this by default now. When we make a statistics page, we advertise until it ranks decently, and then we kind of stop. But it's really a good way to kickstart it. But yeah, so it has 373 linking root domains, the statistics page, which is not as much as the AI one, which was 432, but
it's also newer, right?
True.
It's been out there for like 9 months less than the statistics one. So
yeah, so it's like it kind of makes your point that basically putting the sources at the end of the section generates more links than
100%. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
It's so funny because we criticize Google so much for doing this, and essentially it's the best tactic for getting links.
Yeah, I mean that's why they do it, right?
I mean, it's interesting to be on the other side. It gives you interest. But like, so that's pretty much 3 for 3. Did we run any campaign like this that didn't work?
No.
Okay. No. So would you say it would work every time if you ran it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it's dependent on you being able to rank your statistics page, right? You can manually outreach to your survey. If you do everything correct for that, you're going to get links. But if you don't rank your statistics post, then how are people going to find you, right? You can pay for ads, right? That's one solution for that.
Which I think
super
is easy,
low DR. But if you're a DR10 site trying to rank for AI statistics, like
we don't even have it anymore, right? We've had it for like 2 years, I think.
Yeah, it kind of goes up and down a little bit, but we need to update the data, I think, because it's a bit out of date. So we might get around to doing that.
Yeah, I think it needs a bit of a refresh now. But I mean, it's done its job, honestly. Yeah. The thing as well that is interesting is like, let's say, I mean, affiliate marketing, AI statistics, I'm not sure we can hold this forever. Like it's competitive as hell now. Obviously, it's like the hottest niche in the world. And it's pretty impressive that we've held these rankings for so long. But let's say we never get it back. Like I still have a URL with 432 linking root domains. Right. It's like, and so there's something that we call like link profile redeployment, which is essentially the fact that I could make any page about AI on the site and redirect that URL to that new page. So like, it's due for refresh. I'm not gonna do it, but we have this like best AI writing tools page, which ranks still okay, but honestly, the content needs to be refreshed. But if I redirect this URL there, like we instantly take back the #1 spot and make money from that. And so like these assets are like especially useful later on, even if you can't maintain the rankings. And I think that's quite important. It's not a failure if it stops working, because you have these links that they will drop a little bit over time. Like, you know, if you redirect, some people will cut the links, people update their sites, etc. But I'm imagining like 300 links that I can point to any page that's semi-related, so about AI, I would say. And we could make a lot of money, because you almost get like an unfair advantage. Like, how do you build 300 backlinks to a best AI writing tool page? Like, it's like legitimately without paying a lot of money.
Well, you know, one of the things we actually did to help us rank that page, the statistics page, was we redirected another page we had about AI to it. So we ranked initially, and then we went down after like a year or something, and so we redirected the other one to there. It went back up.
It's
straight
the article
away.
I wrote about CNET using AI that got like, I don't know, like 80 links or something.
Yeah.
And we redirected that, and then that just got us #1 back for a year. That got us another 100 links or something.
Yeah.
It's
like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way.
Yeah, it's like, but it's quite interesting, because it's like, I think like people will imagine, oh, if it's not ranking after 2 years, then you fail. No, like your site authority still benefits from that through your internal linking, but also you can redirect these pages to what makes sense for you today, provided it's semi-related. Like, I would not redirect that to a link building page, for example.
Sure.
I think that would lose a lot of value, but if you do it in a relevant way, that's super useful. So, I mean, we've done that on like a DR78 site. Let's say 75 when we started or something like that. Like, do you think small sites can do this as well?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, the survey, you can, if you just do the survey, right, and you just outreach to that, you can get 50 to 100 links
which
to that.
Which is good for small
Which
sites.
is amazing on its own. So it's the ROI is already there just for the survey.
Yeah.
Ranking for statistics, like it depends on the kind of angle you take, the topic you take. Obviously, if you go for something super high level and there's all DR90 sites and the CDC ranking, then no.
Yeah, it's complicated.
But if you go for like a really small subsection of that, then you'll get less links from it, but you can still rank and, you know, make it work over time.
I think long tail statistics pages would make sense as well. Like, I would not be afraid to go for like a 20 or 30 search per month.
So this is the bit that we didn't do, right? And I wish we did. So you can take, let's say the link building survey. You could take that data about no follow links, and you could create an article about how many people pay for no follow links, or just an article, just no follow links. Yeah. What are no follow links? And you could, because you have this original data, which I guarantee you nobody else who's writing these articles has, you get such an advantage when it comes to ranking for those, and those can rank as well. And get
I think
links,
my problem with that is it's more likely to have an AI overview answer, for example.
Sure.
So it's like, I would say it's like, I think it can get you links.
Again, where are AI overviews going to go to get the source for that? You with your original data.
Yeah. If you have people, but the thing is, like, the power of the statistics page is people want to quote the original data. Whereas if you answer a question, the desire to quote and give a source is probably lower.
Sure.
So
sure.
I mean, it's okay. It's probably still worth doing, but I think
I think
you lose a little bit of efficiency.
You do. There's diminishing returns, but you get more mileage out of your campaign by doing this.
Okay. When everyone starts doing this, what do you think happens?
It's the same as when everyone starts trying to rank for keywords. Like, what happens?
Yeah.
Google has 10 results at the moment on page
Sometimes.
1. If you're not one of those 10, you're not getting links. You know, you're not going to be successful with this. So start now, maybe, is like the approach. But yeah, for sure, lots of people will start doing this, and it will become less effective over time.
Yeah, I think it's
as every other link building tactic in the history of the world has.
There's an early adopter advantage. And the thing is, like, it's not like running a survey and creating original data is not something you just do or you give to a low-end VA or something like that, right? So like, it's it takes people with some skills, especially analyzing the data, putting a decent post together, etc. Most people don't do it well.
You have to make it interesting,
yeah.
Right? If you just ask some random, like, do you like links, or it's bullshit, right? But we know because we're in that niche, like
Yeah.
what is the interesting thing? Like how much are people really paying for links? Because nobody really knows at scale what that number is,
Yeah.
but we found it.
Yeah, I do feel though it's like there's the problem. I mean, the problem for me, but the opportunity for others is that there's really nobody checking the data. Everyone just eats it up, and then you could say anything. You could put none of the work.
That's true about anything on the internet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
specific to
I know.
surveys.
It's just. I mean, it's just. I mean, it means that you can be quite biased in this as well. It means you can be sloppy and still get results. I guess that's what it tells you.
Potentially, yeah, but I mean, I think if people start calling you out for your
Yeah.
fake data or something,
Then
like
you're
your
toast.
reputation or credibility is ruined, right?
I don't think it's ruined. I don't think people research when they before. Do you research the reputation of the site?
Sure. But
Yeah.
it's look.
Yeah, I know.
I know some people want to run their businesses and lives that way.
I don't
That's
know.
not.
I
how
mean,
we
it's
roll,
just
so.
it's like it's interesting to push it basically. Okay. I mean, that's pretty much all I have. Is there anything else you want to add on this?
Yes, we've actually systematized this entire process in a lot more detail. We've gone through every aspect of planning, research, validation, designing your survey, analyzing the data, doing the outreach, getting the links, building the statistics base, all of that. We've put it into a step-by-step system, which took ages, by the way.
Yeah.
And we incorporated a ton of AI into that as well to help speed up the process. And we're putting into a course which is going to be released in a few weeks' time. So yeah, people should definitely make sure they're subscribed to our email list, authorityhacker.com/subscribe, or tune into our next podcast as well, where we're going to be talking about digital PR, I believe,
similar campaigns,
because
right?
we've had some good success with digital PR now, and we have
In-house, yeah.
some stuff to share.
Yeah. I also want to say that this new course is going to be available for free to Authority Hacker Pro members. So if you're a pro member, like you can expect that to drop for you at the same time, free of charge, basically. So, okay, well, we'll talk about digital PR in the next episode. Let us know what you think about the in-person episode as well, because we didn't mention that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we rented a studio. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that was fun. And in the next episode, we'll talk about digital PR, how we also build things that way. That's kind of a teaser for the upcoming course, really. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of the Authority Hacker Podcast. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. Now, I have a quick question for you. Are you looking to learn how to build and monetize an audience? If so, we've got something special for you. Head over to authorityhacker.com/subscribe and join our email list. By subscribing, you'll get access to exclusive content, insider tips, and strategies that we don't share anywhere else. You'll also be the first to know about our latest resources, tools, and techniques to build a successful online business. Don't miss out on this opportunity to take your online presence to the next level. Remember, that's authorityhacker.com/subscribe. Join us today and let's grow your authority together.